Welcome to the Advanced Financial Weekly Update. Today, we're going to be talking about converting bonds into tax-free assets. This strategy could allow you to create tax-free income in the future while allowing you to participate in the recovery of the market. Joining me today, financial advisor and president of the AFI Group, Brian Walker, an entrepreneur, baseball fanatic, and proud father of two, who's passionately teaching conservative financial strategies today to help you keep more of your wealth in the future. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Robert. Thanks for having me. Hope you're doing well today.
I am, and it's great to have you, but let's not forget Edward Schuh, Senior Investment Manager and founder of Inception Financial Services. He grew up in the Midwest, became a Marine Corps engineer, and then turned financial advisor, who's obsessed with teaching people how to engineer a more reliable retirement. Hey, Edward.
Robert, thanks for having me.
Your hair's looking pretty snazzy there, Robert. What, you get a little trim or something?
Yeah, I had a brother-in-law who happens to also own a hair salon, and I finally convinced him to break the rules.
Uh-oh, so you're getting others to break protocol, huh? Well,
yeah, but hey, I'll tell you what, you did a fantastic job. My wife loves it.
Well, that's awesome. As long as the ladies like it, I know I'm doing my job right.
So watch out, Brian. The governor might be headed to your house to
Well,
bring
he looks
you
like
in.
he needs a haircut.
Well, while many of us are stuck at home, the thing that's keeping a lot of people busier than ever is social media, which Ed mentioned. Some people, it's been a way to keep in touch with friends and family, but for others, it's an outlet. If you haven't been impressed with the creativity that's been coming out of self-isolation, well, as they say, you haven't been watching.
Now, we've all had phones with cameras up there at the top for a while now, and somehow we still film vertically, but there's something we haven't had until now, and that's a ton of time on our hands.
Standing in a crowded room and I can't see your face.
Now, I'm not sure how much skill went into making this video, but it's basically impossible to watch without smiling. Smiles are kind of the one infectious thing that's okay right now. There are a lot of parodies out there right now. Disney's a big inspiration. Hard to believe this isn't the original.
Out on the streets you cannot play, cause you must stay 2 meters away. Self-isolation helps save the nation in quarantine.
It helps if you can hold a tune or know a specific dance, but you can be contagious in a positive way just by being positive.
Well, there's nothing like a little bit of humor to relieve some of the anxieties and fears that we're all experiencing. This week, we wanted to talk about a unique opportunity to convert tax-deferred assets into tax-free assets. But many people have expressed concern that they don't want to miss out on the recovery of the market. So let's talk about this unique opportunity that allows you to convert the bond portion of your portfolio to a LIRP or life insurance retirement plan. Brian, help us make sense of this unique opportunity.
So if we look at our 401k statements or IRA statements, we'll see that hopefully you have a balanced portfolio within, and you have some bond and equities and so on and so forth. So what we want to do in this case is leave the equities portion in the 401k or IRA, so it participates in the recovery. We can take the bond portion, which typically is a lower return. We can take that out of that tax-deferred environment, pay the tax along the way or over the next 3 years, and then deposit that money into an LIRP, where now we're going to get growth on a tax-free basis. And we have the ability to earn a lot more than what we might earn in our bond portion of the portfolio, such as a LIRP or even a Roth IRA. And the benefit of doing that now is that we more than likely will be in a lower tax bracket when we do that conversion.
And Ed, so most people haven't heard of an LIRP or life insurance retirement plan. Can you help us better understand how that investment works?
Yeah, sure thing, Robert. What I'm going to do is, if I just explain it, sometimes it can be a bit confusing to understand. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and take control and share my screen, and that way I can talk and offer visual as well. So the LIRP stands for Life Insurance Retirement Plan. And why do we call it that? Because it's really intended to create a tax-free stream of income. The main goal with the LIRP is for us to put money into that tax-free bucket so that we have this cash value that grows that we can tap into in a tax-free way. Now, how does that money grow? That money generally grows, it will track an index. The most common being what most of us see on a daily basis, the S&P 500. Now, we don't get to participate fully. We use what I like to call a capped or a collared return. Now, depending on the carrier, most of them will have anywhere from, say, like around a 1% to a 12% range. What does that mean? That means if the S&P is negative, we earn 1% interest. If the S&P is positive or over 12%, then we cap out at 12%. If it's in between, that's the interest that we earn, and that's how our value grows. Now, there are costs associated because it has to be tied to life insurance. But what we found is those fees over the life of the investment will likely average about 1% or around the amount of any managed investment account. Now, the real question is, how do we get to use those funds tax-free? We don't just take a simple withdrawal. Well, what we do is the insurance company that sponsors the LIRP, they have money in their coffers. And what they do is they have us take loans tax-free so that we can spend that money. Now, they're going to charge us 6% interest on that loan. Now, that may sound a little steep, but what they do is within our cash value, they create collateral to pay that loan off if we pass away. Now, you notice I put that loan collateral in the exact same bucket as the LIRP. And the reason I do that is that even though it's partitioned as collateral to pay that money back, it still gets to participate in that 1 to 12%. So essentially now that collateral has a range or an investment return of anywhere from -5 to +6%. And since the market is generally up roughly 3/4 of the time, that's a pretty safe investment for us to be able to utilize tax-free income for the rest of our lives.
If we think back to the slide that Eddie showed us, we have a 1 to 12% window of returns. So there's not many bond portions of people's portfolio that are earning 12% tax-free. So we have an opportunity to also participate in the recovery of the market, but we're in a tax-free environment with also downside protection.
How does that compare to like a Roth IRA?
So with a Roth IRA, generally we will have some level of market risk, right? We'll utilize some level of asset allocation in order to minimize that risk. Be that as it may, when we want to start taking money out of our Roth IRA, we generally will follow roughly around the 4% rule, which means we can take 4% of our assets out of that account on an annual basis, and we can expect our money to outlive us. So essentially, we'll be able to live and not run out of money. With an LIRP, because we take away those negative returns, when we start utilizing those funds, we can generally take anywhere from 7, 8, 9, in some cases even 10%, which allows us to spend substantially more in a tax-free way.
And Brian, if someone already has an LIRP, for many of your clients, should they continue to fund during this time?
Yeah, if they can afford it, why not? Because all that's going to do is help follow the plan that was originally designed And we take pride in the fact that we meet with our clients on an annual basis, review the policies, and give recommendations on where to invest in the future. So if the money's there, you might as well follow the plan and keep going.
And Ed, we had mentioned some other alternative investments that can help convert from tax deferred to tax free. Can you help us better understand our other options?
So yeah, Robert, we have a couple of options that are available to us. We talked about the Roth conversions. We talked about the LIRP. There are some other what people would consider tax-free investments out there. You're not going to get charged state tax or get taxed federally, but most people don't realize that those things count as what we call provisional income, and that's what the IRS uses to track if our Social Security is going to be taxed or not. So all of those count toward that. So the only two truly tax-free investments are going to be the LIRP and the Roth conversions. Now, the LIRP has certain protections for negative returns. The Roth gives you some options for additional investment vehicles, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee or offer any of that downside protection. Now, in no way am I saying we shouldn't do any Roth conversions. What I'm saying is we should do some of both, because we want to ensure that we have multiple streams of tax-free income when we retire.
And a question to that also is, can we hold our positions as we convert from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA?
Great question. Yeah. And the answer to that is definitely yes. So what that means is if we run the conversions along the way and we continue to stay invested in the specific asset allocation that we have, then now, as we participate in recovery, the recovery we get to enjoy is going to be tax-free.
So would a combination of the two be beneficial if you can hold your positions in a Roth and duplicate or replicate the bond portion of your portfolio with the LIRP? Could you use those two tools together?
I would actually say that is the ideal situation, actually.
Well, again, I always appreciate the fact that you guys are so committed to education and helping families. It's primarily what you do. You tour and teach webinars and workshops throughout Orange County, and webinars are allowing us to reach even further. So if you would like to learn more about any of these strategies, or Social Security, market volatility, both Ed and Brian are Advent educators, and they have their webinars available and workshops available at theafigroup.com/events. And all of these are complimentary educational events. So we appreciate you both for joining us this week and adding a little bit of knowledge. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, Robert.
Yep, it's my pleasure, Robert. Anytime.